All right, so who misses their Rolodex or loading film and cameras? Anybody? Some of that old technology has all been updated to be brand new and fresh. And we always accept the evolution of these things. So I'm going to show you something today that's an evolution of the filmmaking process, but we use generative AI to do it. Oh, that's me. Okay. This is Forbes came out to see one of our demos, which I sent a writer, and our PR department always says, hey, make sure you let people know you didn't buy that, because you can buy placement in Forbes. So they actually wrote an article and made that quote for us. This is my partner, Pinar Demerdog. She's doing a panel discussion right after me with some very interesting people. We started a business together in 2020 and got into the software business accidentally. We never were in the software business before. We were both creative people. I was a creative director at an ad agency. She was a digital artist. But in 2018, Google brought her out to Google Labs in Paris because they were making things that looked like her artwork through machine learning. And so together, we got together and combined the film with the generative AI. Here's our beautiful team that work with us. They're all very fun people, and they're scattered all over the world. It's wonderful. So the goal of Cuebric is to minimize the tedious and maximize the extraordinary. Today's, in the industry, you have, this is a slide from Lux Machina, so I appreciate them letting us use this today. But you have 2D, you have 2.5D, and you have 3D. 50 to 75% of environments can get away with 2.5D. And that's what we do. Everybody probably remembers the multi-plane camera from Disney. It's basically the same principle. So like your old camera is now in your pocket. Now we can take this technology with generative AI and make it simple right on your laptop. Let's see if he gets into it here. But that's the idea there, where they would create these planes and shoot through it for these early cartoons. All right, this is our user interface, and we create very beautiful images with our tool. The first thing we do with generative AI is we generate images. And we use Stable Diffusion as our model, but then it's like a guitar and an amplifier. We create fuzz pedals for filmic looks. We have 4 looks. We have Cuebric Standard, we have Cuebric Moody, Cuebric Classic, which has warmer light, Sci-Fi has more of a monochromatic, and Moody is more of a ghosty type of feeling. And here's some of our images that were created with Cuebric. You can see that they're quite amazing. These are all just text to image. I'll go through quickly because I have 9 minutes. Okay, so what do we do with these images? We create backgrounds for film sets. We put them on, we work with volume stages. You can put them on volume stages through any media server, or you can also use them to composite on green screen at the back end, at the end of the production. You can also use them to previs before you go out and build three-dimensional Unreal Engine scenes. Okay, the other thing we do is we do AI in-painting and out-painting. Whoops, here's some in-painting. So you want to add a tree into this image that we created. You erase it out, create a new layer, and it'll create a tree. I don't like that tree. The director says, I'd like to have a cherry blossom tree instead. And so you just go back, redo it, and you get a cherry blossom tree. Nice. The other thing we do is AI object segmentation. Object segmentation is the way to rotoscope in a very quick way. You don't have to do the boring and tedious work of rotoscoping. I don't think anybody in the world would miss a night's sleep if rotoscoping went away. So in object segmentation, we have this, where you calculate a semantic map or an object map And then you can scroll over the images that you want to segment out and create plates with them. It's a really nice way to understand the environment. So you can scroll, click, hold, and just create the whole element that you want to capture, like the whole sky there, for instance. You can do the mountains, and then you can segment the whole thing into different layers. We also have this object identification, so you can just have this happen, and then you can go through and say, oh, I want to grab all the legs and the arms of that robot, or I want to just grab the front floor, the surface of the ground, or the sky in the background. The second thing we do is we do depth segmentation. Depth segmentation is a very nice way to tell how deep the pixels are, how far away something is from another thing. And here's an example of that. It's on the far right of our user interface. Click on those. It creates you can create a different screen so you can still see the background that you're going to want to know where you're segmenting. You hit depth, you calculate the depth segmentation. And then with our slider, you can slide. I want to take the sky, I want to move the background away, and I'm going to isolate this foreground for a plate. And you can go the other way too. You can, from the right side, you come up from the bottom. So now you've created a plate here. And then you can come the other way and create more depth segmentations. And then the last AI part of this technology is superscaling. So you're working in an HD image, and you can upscale it to 2K, 4K, even 8K. So you take an image like that, and then you can upscale it, and you download the plates in PG in a zip file. You can upload them in Unreal Engine, Disguise, Assimilate, any media server that you're going to use in a volume stage. So here's a quick little example of some editing. So the first thing you do is you identify your planes that you want to create the segments out of. It's a nice way to just kind of sketch out before, maybe get approval of those planes before you go forward from somebody. I have this sped up a little bit because of time, but this is actually real time. Create the layers. This is like a quick demo we got going on here. Then you want to, when you remove the foreground, you got all that sky you have to have, so when your camera moves, you can fill it with sky. So we're going to inpaint the background sky. Okay, that's fine. These bushes are going to be below the horizon, so that's going to be okay. Then you segment the foreground. You're going to take these mountains and build these mountains that are behind. A quick cleanup. And inpaint the background. The ocean. We're going to put the ocean in now. There's the ocean. And it goes on and on. I'll do maybe one more because I don't want to run out of time here and keep you guys waiting. So then you take out that sky because you already made the sky. Now you have the ocean. You clean up the horizon a bit with our eraser. Now you have the sky, the ocean. Then you go to the next step, create another plate for, it's going to be the foreground, or these mountains. We're going to do the mountains behind the so hills in the distance, and then that'll inpaint that for us. So this technology is just helping you get to create a 2.5 dimension environment a lot faster and more efficient and time consuming. Basically, you can go from concept to camera in minutes. So now you have the hills, then you come back. So now you have 3 plates. Now you have to create the other plates. We'll take the foreground and grab the rocks in the foreground. I think you guys get the idea, so I'm going to keep going here. What you end up with then is the 5 different plates. And then when you download them into, this is Disguise, you can download them into Disguise and create your parallax view. And as you move, you can see now that we have a full 2.5 dimension type image behind that actors can work in front. And if you remember, a lot of these scenes can be done. I'm not saying this is for everything, but a lot of scenes you can get away with 2.5D as opposed to going to the full 3D representation. Here we worked with Roscoe. They gave us some images just to show that you can also download any director plate, or DP plate, or and it'll also. Can I play that again, just so you can see how the parallax works on even photographs. So you don't have to generate an image in Cuebric to do the 2.5D segmentation. You can also upload any plates that you'd like. If you're interested, you can register at www.cuebric.com, and you can get on a waiting list. We're in pre-demo, pre-beta right now, so we're accepting lists, and we're getting to people as soon as we can. Thank you.